What is up, guys? Today we are going to be looking at another Dawnbreaker offlane game. And the most recent video I posted on Dawnbreaker offlane, I was showing how I solo carry the game in certain games where you don't trust your teammates and you want to be able to put the team on your back. This game I play totally differently, so I wanted to show you an example of what that looks like. So this is still Dawnbreaker offlane, but my items this game are... I end up with a Wraith Pact, Lotus Orb, Mech, Holy Locket, and I still have the Echo Saber phase. And my KDA is still really good. I go 11, 4, and 24 doing a build like this as opposed to, a Blink, Shard, Deso, Basher, Daedalus type build. So, first of all, the reason that I go for this build in this game is that we have very high damage cores in the other two cores. Like Lina and Jug are two very high damage cores if they stay alive. Also, this is a little bit of a hard game for me to just jump in and I can maybe jump in and solo kill Shaman for sure, but Slark has Shard, Slark has ult, LC can duel you, and you're kind of a liability to get blink dueled by the LC. If you go on a support, depending on if he's having a good game, he might just be able to go on you, and the solo carry build does not do a lot in that case. And then also against a lot of stuns, it's just less good. And especially in this game where I have a Jug and Lina who like I said are high damage, but also they are more susceptible to just dying. I thought it would be best if I tried to keep them alive, as I said, they do a lot of damage and they're easier to kill on average. So if I stay in the back or stay off out of the fight and then use my ult to save, especially against an LC, I think Dawn is a great hero against LC. I've kind of gotten lucky recently. A lot of my Dawn picks, I mean, LC is really popular, so the odds that you'll be against an LC are decent right now anyways. The enemy offlane will pick LC. If you pick Dawn, that is just a hard counter because he duels. No matter where you are, you save the person he's dueling almost always, unless the LC's out of control or something. So that is why I go the build that I go. And I did get the phase Echo Saber this game. I don't think that I should have actually. I came to this realization of how I wanted to play this game, kind of after I'd finished my Echo Saber. So I was going normal items. I went Wraithband, Wand, Phase, and into the Echo Saber. And then kind of at that point, I was thinking about my next item, and I was like, well, I thought about all those things that I just described. I was like, okay, well, I don't really want to go Blink Deso. I don't think that's going to work that well. Or I already Echo. But even at that point, you can go Blink, right? You can go Blink Shard or whatever. And, I see their Shaman, and they have a Viper, and the Legion, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can just go a Lotus Orb. And so that was my item build. I went into the Lotus Orb, then I went back for the Mech, and then I went for the Holy Locket. I kind of went all in on this strategy, and then I picked up the Shard, and then I went back for the Wraith Pact towards the end. So that's why I start these item builds, but I think if I had realized that this is how the best way to play would be earlier on, I could have just gotten Mana Boots into Greaves and gone an early Greaves, and then played that way instead of the Phase Echo. Because the Phase Echo didn't... it wasn't how I wanted to be playing, right? It doesn't mesh with the strategy of healing, protecting my other cores. So in hindsight, it just didn't make sense that I went those items with the way that I ended up playing. But it's okay. You don't have to itemize perfectly. This game is pretty easy. My Lina popped off. So I've been talking over the beginning of this lane. Nothing crazy happens. The only thing I would really mention is that Wraithband is very good right now as an offlaner when you're worried about getting clicked a lot by the other team. So Slark likes to click a lot. Shaman's got really high base damage, likes to click a lot. So that's why I get the Wraithband. It's really good. I recommend getting it, if you're a Slardar, if you're a Centaur. Centaur, I don't know, Centaur likes to rush Vanguard, but, a lot of strength offlaners right now are picking up Vanguard. High MMR players are picking up Vanguard picking up Wraithband on strength offlaners as a way to mitigate damage. And here we fight, we kill the Slark. I'm completely out of resources, and I run back to base. Oh, I will also mention that if you watch that Dawn versus Lina educational kind of replay analysis video I made, I took away that like Wraith Mana is a good item to buy on Dawn, and that going back to base is a really good thing to do on Dawn. That's something I'm kind of really familiar with, but just pointing it out that I learned some lessons there from like top 15 MMR Dawnbreakers, and implementing them here in my own games to pretty good effect. So farming up some stacks here, and my goal when this Earth Spirit's not here is kind of stay away from the Slark. And then here I just die because I run into the Shaman coming back. Really bad pathing by me. And I missed this whole wave. It's kind of a mistake there, but the point of farming that double stack was just because I could. And if you'll notice, the lane was far up while I was doing this, and I didn't see where the Shaman was, right? So I came back to my lane, and I said, I don't want to go farm solo against this full HP, full mana Slark, right? I don't want to walk up to this. Even though I'm full resources, I don't know where Shaman is, etc. And this is something I also learned from watching really high MMR Dawnbreaker offlane, is like, a lot of times you don't want to walk up to that, and you shouldn't. And so in the meantime, I can just farm this. So that's why I did this, and then the Slark walked up, and I should have just walked straight back towards my tower. I'm pretty sure I would have lived, and then I missed this whole wave. So trying out the new strategies. I don't think walking up to where the Slark was would have been smart, but then I just didn't execute the follow-up that well. Here I get some stacks off, and if I was playing my solo carry the game style, I definitely would farm these stacks. But in this game, I kind of decide, like, I played this Lina before. He's pretty good. He's like spamming Lina right now. I played with him, and he's like a level 30 Lina. So he's very good. I played with him a couple weeks ago. And so I told him that there were some stacks for him. And I was like, all right, I'm going to trust this guy to like carry me. Lina's a really strong carry right now. So I made these stacks, and I go and make another stack at some point, and then I tell Lina to take the stacks instead of me trying to take them. So playing less greedy. So here's where I triple stack the Ancients, get an Ultimate Viper, right? Coming back to my tower, not farming my stacks, just taking the farm here, and eventually tell my Lina to go farm the stacks. Just want to show you guys this really common tactic that high MMR players use, is if you're solo taking this tower, right? I see Slark left, he's in the top lane. If you're taking this tower, please always drag this wave, assuming you have any wave clear abilities, which hopefully you do. Please drag this wave into a camp. You can drag it into the big camp or the small camp, and farm the camp and the wave with one set of spells. It's just so, like, if you're not doing that, you're missing out on too much efficiency. You really are. So I took the tower, willing to rotate. Big fight happens. And after this, I tell my Jug to go bottom, because I took the tower, and, I don't really have a good way to get all the way back down there. And I'll take kind of the dangerous farm, especially when they have, like, an LC, like more of a pick-off lineup. This is the dangerous farm area. This is, like, they want to be getting pick-offs in our dead lane. Here, I go back to base to reset my resources, because I'm low. When you're low mana, please go back to base. Like, don't... I did fly out 2 clarities, but if you're at, like, 100 mana out of 800, just go back to base. Don't, like, clarity up, and then be sitting at no mana forever. Right? With these clarities, plus my Echo Saber, I will be able to stay on the map forever. And as I say that, I do feed, but this, like I said, this is the dangerous part of the map. That's why I'm here, and I don't want Jug to be here. So is it good that I died there? No, but it's better that I die there than Jug die there. So that's why it was good that I told my Jug to go farm bottom. Because my Jug wasn't having the greatest start ever. He's, as you can see, quite behind me even. So they're diving, even though I have my ult. Does not work out well for them, and we respond well with all of our heroes. Oh, my team played really well this game, which is another reason to not go the solo carry the game route. It's like, obviously you don't know your team's going to be playing well in the first 10 minutes. Kind of have to see how it goes. But this was a perfect time to go the build I did, because my team was playing really well and I could trust them to do their jobs, and I didn't have to try and be the damage for my team. I do want to point out, I did buy my own sentry for this ward, for this cliff. We had an idea of that first fight around here that they had a ward here, and then I died to the Slark, and I was like, okay, I just need to go D-ward that ward. And so I did. Buy your own sentries if you think they have a ward there. And if they don't, right, it's only 50 gold. It's not a huge deal. So here I picked the Perseverance first of the Lotus Orb. Dawnbreaker can farm so fast as long as she has mana. So just pick up the mana regen first. I'm constantly chugging clarities. If you're not constantly buying clarities in your games, guys, you're just not doing it right. You're really not. Just please make sure that you're always buying clarities and staying at full mana. Like, I'm constantly at high mana or flying out clarities. Like, by high mana, I mean at least 2/3, like, ready to fight and be able to fight and go through a whole fight. Here, what I want to say about this is my Jug dies during this. I walk up this hill because I have my ult, right? So I don't think I'm needed to, like, hit that tower. So my idea is, like, I'll see what's up here, maybe farm this camp, and if I need to ult to save my Jug, I will. And we find this Slark, and I kind of run at him because my team's right behind me, right? So I feel kind of strong. And the downside of this is, like, I'm no longer ready to, like, ult my Jug. However, this, I think, is okay, and I think my Jug makes a mistake here, and it's important if you're the Jug in this scenario to recognize what's happening. So you're the Jug, and maybe it's already too late at this point, you just got fissured, but your team is chasing into the jungle, chasing a Slark. Whether or not it ends up working, that's what's happening, right? You have to play the game you're in, and your Alina is not here. So the correct response for this Jug, and like I said, maybe it's too late. Yeah, it's too late. You got basically dueled straight from the fissure. Would have been to back up sooner. So if you're this Jug, right, pay attention to what your team's doing. I guess it happened very fast. So maybe just don't be as eager to hit the tower on the Jug. I don't know. It's not ideal that our Jug died there. I probably could have saved him if we weren't chasing the Slark. I had been just like watching the Jug, and I went and Solar Guardianed as soon as the LC ulted. But we were actually getting the Slark, and if our Jug hadn't died, it would have been amazing. Since the Jug did die, it was just kind of like even trade at least. But yeah, be careful when you're like the Jug in that situation, because Lino was not there. So it's like understanding what your team can get away with. I don't know if they knew that Arlena wasn't there, because they seemed to like just go on us, which is a little wild. If Arlena had been there, like we would have probably wiped them. But that was the situation, and you know, the Jug just sort of misread it a little bit. Right, and part of the reason I was okay with not participating in this is because my Lina wasn't there, right? I didn't feel like we needed to get that tower right then and there because Lina wasn't there. So that's important to like recognize, right? Like, why is it okay that we're not just pushing this tower? Well, our best tower pusher, like, you know, the 675 attack range, 670 attack range hero that does massive damage was not there doing it. So it's like, why are we trying to force it without her? At this point in the game, all I'll say is we are playing the aggressive part of the map. Jug's playing a little bit safer. Lino was playing kind of a more dangerous part of the map, but he actually Lino was playing the more dangerous part of the map by like farming up here, but he actually asked for a ward here. He said, "Can I have a ward here so that I can farm this area?" He like made a circle. And that is something that really high MMR players will like do and understand. So if you are a core and you're like, "Okay, well, I want to farm this area as the Lina, right? But I don't want to die." Ask for a ward, right? Or he could have bought his own ward. Maybe we didn't have any in stock. He might have bought his own ward if we had any in stock. But if they don't, right, figure out the wards you need to farm safely. And then here, I was paying attention to my team, and I thought I was, like, safe right outside the tower. But obviously I'm not, right? I'm against an LC, and I do get picked off. I was ready to ulti here, and then I get gone on. And what's important here is I communicated instantly to my team as this is happening. I said, guys, kill them all mid. Slark and LC aren't there. And that is super important information because from my team's perspective, they've traded 1-for-1 supports and there's a Viper in the river, but they don't know where his team is. And they're not necessarily going to notice instantly on the minimap that the other heroes are showing because they're in the middle of like this fight. But if I tell them and they just hear it, they don't have to like look, right? I get their attention and say, guys, you can go hard. Like they don't have their 2 other cores. Instantly they know like this Viper is easy to kill. So if we watch what happens here, they do commit really hard, and the Lina does use her BKB, but they clean up both the other kills there. So is it great that I died? No, but with that instant communication I did, my team knew it was safe to fully commit on the fight. Because if I hadn't said that, you know, Lina might have just backed away, not knowing where the other players on the enemy team were. And, you know, you couldn't have faulted her for that because she wouldn't have, like, instantly known that like the cores were top, but the communication that I did was really important to make that play happen. So again, I keep playing the top to take the safe farm. They could keep coming and kill me, so I try not to stay here a long time. Now I got vision of the LC. I'm ready to ult if I need to, but I'm walking towards the fight because it doesn't really seem like I'll need to ult. And then here, the Shaman does commit with his channel. Also, Shaman channels, like Dawnbreaker just counters that completely. Like, what is the Shaman supposed to do if I just ult on top of anybody he shackles? As long as it's not me, we're good, right? So Dawnbreaker, really good hero against their lineup specifically this game. As long as I'm not the one getting gone on, right? If I'm getting gone on, I'm not saving anybody. But I figured if I just sit back, don't get gone on, we have really juicy targets in the Jug and Lina that will get gone on, and I can just save them. It's just so easy for my hero with my kit to save them. So that's why I kind of love this hero right now. You just be, like, there's not really many bad games for Dawnbreaker, because you can play in multiple ways. You can play to, like, pick off and blow people up in solo carry, or you can play to, like, sit back and save if the enemy has really high pick off. And meantime, you can, like, farm aggressively. So here, important to recognize, like, I walked up here, we took mid tower, they respawned, right? We see that they have 2 cores in this jungle. So I walk up here not to fight them. It's so important that you understand, if you're watching this, that I'm not walking up here to fight them. I'm walking up here to take this farm away from them. And I know they're respawning, and if they want to, they can bring all their heroes here, and they can make us leave or kill us. Because, right, Lina's not here anymore. We don't want to take another fight right away. We already used all of our abilities. So I am here to steal this farm from them in this small window. And lo and behold, they did bring all their respawning heroes here. And my Earth Spirit, you know, went in like a crazy person. Like, he should have known that we were not coming up here to fight them. And you just have to know what you're trying to do, right? And don't get baited, right? I saw this happening, and I even, me walking back and forth here is a total grief. If they had better catch, this could easily kill me by me not being decisive here. But, you know, relatively quickly, I was like, okay, I don't want to be doing that. I should have decided even faster, though, honestly. But make sure you know what you're doing, right? I was up here to steal this farm, and then if the Earth Spirit and Jakiro, like, hadn't died, I probably just would have walked this way and farmed. I was kind of farming backwards at the start of a new minute, but through their jungle where they all were, right? It's really efficient to, like, deny them farm, which is what I was trying to do. My playstyle here is just hope they go on my Lina. I actually wanted them to, because my Solar Guardian just saves them, or saves my Lina. But nobody went on them, sadly. But that's what I'm doing, is I'm just hoping they go on my Lina. My team wanted to smoke, so we smoked. When you're smoked like this, and you have a hero that's not smoked, have them go as bait. This is important. I've coached a low MMR player specifically on this concept. It doesn't matter if it's you or somebody else in your team, right? If 4 of you smoke and 1 person's not, A, you need to go to where that person is. Our Jug was, like, close by. He just didn't make it into the smoke. But B, use that person as bait, right? Have that person run in first, especially if you have save like we do, right? Like, this Jug can do anything he wants because I will save him if they go on him. Like, they don't have the burst to kill him during one duel. And so with this smoke, we can do whatever we want, right? We can go wherever we want and take control of whatever part of the map we want. We run into their triangle. They're not here. And then we make the call to run up here. We had a feeling they were here. And at first we didn't find anybody, but then eventually they do show. The Slark is here. We don't get the Slark, but we do force him to ult, and we end up finding the Shaman. And basically kick them out, right? We've played this whole area, did find 1 kill, kick them out of our jungle. And this is what you do with Aegis, right? We're just trying to deny them farm, making sure they're not, like, out farming on the map. It's like a corral. It's like an effort to corral, right? So, like, if I walk you back to here right when we smoked, if I walk you back to the smoke, and we smoke here, now with this smoke, if we just walked down mid, because that's what a lot of people do, I think. They have Aegis, right? We have Aegis. We're strong. We could just walk down mid here and push this tower. We easily could do that, 100%. But if we do that, the enemy will free farm bottom. They will free farm top. They will push out top and bottom. And they will get more farm than we will for the next, like, 2 minutes or whatever. And they can even glyph this to make this take a long time. And yeah, maybe we can farm like a camp on the side or whatever. But In the meantime, they will get a ton of farms. So if you have the Aegis and you're winning, right? We're winning, we have the Aegis. We'd love to take a full fight right now. I'm sure we'd win. They don't want to take that fight, so they're not going to give it to you, especially your higher on Mars. I mean, if you're like in Herald or Crusader, whatever, maybe your enemies will just like straight up fight you. They shouldn't, but like they probably will. But if you're like Ancient Divine, you need to like corral them, right? We do not need to push this tower right now, even though we could, and we probably could take it. We don't need to do that. What we want to do is corral them. We have no idea where they are. They're out on the map farming. We don't want them to be farming. Kind of the whole just strategy of Dota right now, like the best strategy in terms of like increasing your net worth and winning the game is to deny them farm. It's not to out farm them, it's to make it so they can't farm at all. The best way, like the best situation in Dota to be in is if they're locked in their base and you're just right out here farming this area, right? Are you farming the entire map? Probably not, because then you might be too spread out. And if they did a smoke play and win on somebody here, right? If you're like farming the whole map without a global ability, then they're probably going to take a 5v3 or a 5v4 or a 5v2, right? And get kills that they shouldn't get because you're ahead. But if you just farm, you know, this 40% of the map here, while they're farming like 0 or like whatever 10% as like waves come in, then you are out farming them. So the point of like this high level movement of like not just running down mid is to deny them farm, to get them back in their base, A, first off of our side of the map, and then B, once they're all on their side of the map, to collapse them in and not let them out and increase our net worth lead that way. Okay, let's watch this fight. Let's see what happens. I am happy to be up here split pushing because I have my ult, Solar Guardian. I see my team getting gone on. I'm like, sweet. First guy that gets gone on, I just jump in. This just heals him a bunch. I Lotus him. I don't know if I needed to. Lotus is... I bought this Lotus, honestly. It's like good against Shaman, and that's kind of it. Like, it works on Viper Strike. It will purge Slark Diffusal. He did go Diffusal. It will purge, like, I don't know, like if Legion... It technically works against Legion Duel, and it could, like, double the duel damage if you thought your teammate was going to win it. If they're going to win it, it's, like, bad. So maybe Lotus wasn't the best item. I thought it was also just good because I guess it dispels Viper Q, and it also just gives me good armor and mana. And I thought this game would be more like when we are pushing, my Lina would just be sitting there, right? Hitting buildings. And so we just keep the Lina Lotus so that they can't just blink Hex Initiate. So even though it's only good against a couple of spells, that was sort of my thought process. Here my Lina has Aegis, so it's like totally okay he dies. And we do clean up the entire rest of the enemy team. So really good fight from us here. We're split pushing the other side of the map. The enemy was corralled to their side of the map and decided to try and make a stand like outside of their tier 2 tower. But that's what we were waiting for, right? We were the stronger team. We had the Aegis. We were already ahead in net worth. We wanted that fight, and we eventually took it pretty much on our terms. And right, I didn't have to be there. I don't know if they like thought in their head like, oh, Dawn's not here, but obviously I could be there with my ultimate. So here's where I decided to go the mech. I'm like, okay, well, if this is where I really started to like realize, like I got the Lotus Orb. This is where I really started to realize, I was like, well, if they can't kill my Lina and Jug, then like we'll just win the game. Like if I just make it so my Lina and Jug never die to like their duel, right? If they blink duel and they just cannot kill who they go on, they completely run out of damage, right? Earthshaker is Echo, like for damage, right? His main damage is Echo. LC wants to get it done during the blink duel, and if she doesn't, she's screwed. Slark is okay at taking longer fights. You know, Shaman, I guess, like whatever. Viper doesn't really want to take long fights. I don't know. I guess Viper sort of can, but it's like awkward. But like two of their heroes are very centered around like bursting and getting pickoffs. So if you can just prevent that from happening, right? My ult and then this mech to just like keep that person alive just a little bit longer and make them have to commit really hard to get whoever they're trying to kill, then, you know, I thought it was impossible for us to lose. Like, we just can't lose if they can't kill my Lina, right? My Lina just gets to stand there and keep hitting. My Jug doesn't die off their, like, duel. once their initiation's over, then we just win the fight after that, right? Lina just continually outputs damage, Takuro spells continually output damage, Earth Spirit continually chases. You know, my W cooldown is 12 seconds. Like, on Dawn, you can kind of just keep using your spells all the time after you've ulted. And like Jug, right? He continually, like, is hitting, spinning, using Healy Ward if he needs to for a second. So, just very, like, cohesive with their playstyle. So that's why I went back for this Holy Locket as well. I got the mech, and I was like, let me just keep people alive. I could have gone Ags, but honestly, I don't know. Like, Ags is okay. But I feel like in some situations it could be good, but like in this game, right, they're going to be Blink Hex Shackling, or dueling, right? The target that I'm trying to ult and save is not going to be moving. So I don't think the movement aspect really mattered that much. And I thought the Holy Locket mech and, like, you know, I kind of have these Greaves queued up. I decided I didn't really want to get double boots, so I think this is where I get, like, the Wraith Pact after the Shard. But that was my thought there, right? Just keep my team alive. The Wraith Pact, I was like, okay, like, LC will never kill anybody, and Slark will never kill anybody if we have a Wraith Pact. It doesn't stop the Viper in the... Right, but it's just mitigating some of their damage, and the more damage I can mitigate or offset by heal, the harder it is going to be for them to do what they need to do. So we'll see in this fight here. Let's check this out and see if our strategy that we're going for here pans out. Okay, their LC instantly dies. I guess it didn't really matter here at all. I didn't even use mech or my ult. So we're really far ahead at this point, actually. There is a fight that happens that demonstrates this concept, so I do want to show that, and then we'll end the video. Because otherwise, we're just really far ahead here, and we do kind of clean up. But there is a fight that happens that I want to show you guys where I feel like this does come into effect. Maybe this is what I'm talking about. I don't think it's like a major fight, but they do go on my Jug here as I'm going to split farm top. Notice my camera movement. This is my camera right now. I'm just watching my Jug. And they go on my Jug, instantly come in and save them. My Jug had already spun too, which, like, was not going to help with the LC Blade Mail. LC is normally good against Jug, but you can see it just completely did nothing, right? My Jug is totally fine. So, hard counters LC, that's for sure. Alright, I lied. I was incorrect. There is no super special play where you can see this build work out. Sort of in this last fight, but we're so far ahead I don't think it matters. This is my player perspective. I'm just watching them go on my team, waiting to ult. I don't even need to because my ES has Ags. Drop my Wraith Pact. They do kill our Jakiro. You can kind of see, I don't know who the LC ended up dueling or if he dueled anybody, but, like, the ES echoed, and then all of a sudden they were completely out of damage after that. LC had died too. Right, the Viper and the ES that were still alive just had to run away. Hopefully you guys thought this video was interesting. Kind of a lot of different things going on here in terms of, like, the strategy, item build, map movements, and, like, conceptual, like, hero knowledge, I guess, of, like, team fight strategy and all that. So let me know if you like this video. Otherwise, I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, sub to the channel. And if you want to be coached by me, check the link in the video description. You can join my Discord there, and there's all the information there on how to sign up.